Hey beautiful, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Also a warm welcome if you are new. In today's video, we're actually going to be looking at the use of henna, and there are different ways that you can use it. I'm thinking that we might release a video on this sometime soon, but you can use it as a tea, you can use it as a gloss, you can use it as a mask. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at how to make a super potent, strengthening, balanced, and hydrating mask, super fast, super nourishing, packing a real punch as far as nutrition and hair definition as well. I've literally just done a henna treatment and my hair is actually super hydrated. It's still drying out at the moment, but I can already tell that we're gonna have definition for days. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in how to incorporate henna into your routine without getting crazy dry hair, then keep watching. Right, but before we get into today's video, I need to give a massive thank you and shout out to our sponsors. Skillshare have sponsored our video for today. If you didn't know, it's an awesome online community where there are literally millions of people coming together to learn all sorts of skills, whether it's in illustration or Photoshop or growing your brand online or online marketing. There are amazing classes for creatives and lifelong learners, something to suit pretty much everyone. Currently, I have been loving learning about Lightroom and how you can use it to form a cohesive Instagram feed. Been working on that, and also I have been enjoying just getting lost in some painting and watercolor courses as well. Definitely something for everyone, and for a limited time only, if you click the link in the description box below, you will get 2 months of absolutely free access to the premium membership. It's normally like $10 a month, so not bad even on a regular day anyway. So if that is of interest, definitely check them out below. But in the meantime, let's get into today's video. Okay, so we know why you're here. You are about that henna life, but you want to do it in a way that's balanced, or actually that's tailored best to you, okay? So henna is the game changer as far as my hair life is concerned. When I started using this consistently and using hair oils, my hair was absolutely transformed. It has been about 9 years now of me using henna, and it's taken me from being stuck at pretty much collarbone length hair to now beyond tailbone length. It is insane. Sister's got to get a haircut now. I do know at this point we do need to just take back some length, but this has really all been down to henna. And of course, this is body art quality henna. That's always what you want to be looking for: unadulterated body art quality henna, which this is. You want it to be a smooth consistency. You want it to be a vibrant color of green, because that tells you that it's fresh, and that is the case here. Now, the active ingredient in this, amongst the minerals and the nutrients that you're going to find, one of the key active ingredients is actually the Lawson dye. And what that does is it actually goes into the cuticle of the hair and builds in and fills in any areas of breakage along the cuticle, reinforcing the keratin and giving crazy strength. However, as it does that, it's not actually balancing out with moisture. So one can actually start to feel like their hair is dry and a little bit difficult to manipulate because the strength and fortification is so 100, okay? So what you might want to do for your very first full mask is you might want to mix it with some hydrating elements that are just going to balance out that Lawson dye. So that's what this is about today. I'm going to show you how to mix a henna hair mask that is definitely more balanced. Alternatively, you can use the henna aloe mask, which has got your fenugreek, which has also got your slippery elm, and that already starts at a more balanced point, but this would also benefit from the same process. So let's get into it. First thing you want to do is, of course, grab your henna. You want to do an allergy test. Mix up a little paste, apply it to the back of your ear at least 48 hours before. Make sure that you're having no kind of allergic reaction, because even the most natural things can actually trigger allergic reactions if your body biochemistry doesn't agree. But what you want to do is make enough of a paste to coat the hair. So let's do it. Add hot, not boiling water. I repeat, you don't want to destroy the nutrients in there. Warm to hot water really does maximize the release of the Lawson dye. And ideally you want to mix this and leave it for 4 hours before application. If you don't have time, that's perfectly fine, but ideal situation for you to get the most out of this mask, you want to apply it before. Can I also just call your attention to how smooth the grade of this henna is? You want to add some hot water, enough to make up a paste. Again, if you know anything about henna, honestly, it's not every henna that you pick up that is going to have this absolutely smooth consistency. Look how smooth this is, guys. Look, it's so, like, honestly, do you know how it feels to wake up and go to grab your henna and genuinely feel in your heart of hearts that over nearly a decade of using henna, your own brand one is actually the best one that you've ever come across? Like, it literally looks like I've added slippery elm to it. And a lot of people make a fuss about using metals when mixing Ayurvedic herbs. It's not that serious. Seriously, it's not going to oxidize that quickly. And in fact, in some traditions, some people actually mix their henna and place them into metal containers because they feel that it helps. So, you know, don't look into it too tough. I've used metal spoons, used wooden spoons. The henna is still going to do your hair good either way. So you can whisk and you can get that up to the consistency that you're happy with. I'm super happy with this consistency. It looks silky smooth. Alternative liquids that you could mix into this could be coconut milk. You could mix in aloe vera juice for extra hydration. The coconut milk is going to be coming at you with some fatty acids. It's going to be coming at you with some fat soluble vitamins and minerals and give you an extra bit of goodness. Like, pretty much I would recommend using anything except possibly a tea because I think that would just be overload. So here now I'm just going to add in my hydrating elements. Whew. Mate, you know when you just feel like I'm just in the right business because I love henna and I love Ayurveda so much. Look at that. That is 1 tablespoon of melted shea butter. The volume did of course go up once I had melted it down. Okay, so at this point you can just head on into the shower, wash your hair, make sure it's super cleansed and then apply. But if you know me, you know I'm hella extra. I just want to put in 2 more things. They're completely unnecessary. Your hair's still going to feel hydrated and strengthened, but I just like to add a little bit of honey and bam! Listen, you're suffering from any kind of hair loss, shedding, this is a wonderful, wonderful oil. Super high in zinc, because being low in zinc in your nutrient content in your blood work is often linked to hair loss, okay? So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of this. Ooh, give that a good mix. Okay, so now we need to go and prep that hair. We need to make sure that the hair is cleansed from root to ends, because once your hair is properly cleansed, you can clarify at this point, or you can use a shampoo. I would highly recommend it as opposed to doing a co-wash, because it lifts all the grime and dirt and allows maximum contact between all the goodness in that getting into your hair, getting under the cuticles, and you want to apply from the scalp all the way down. You're going to need some gloves. You're going to need some kind of like oil, maybe a butter, maybe a shea butter, maybe, I don't know what you want to use, just to put all around here to make sure you're not dyeing your whole face, because otherwise you might be orange. Kind of like somebody who doesn't want to leave the White House anymore. So I'm about to step into the shower, wash, cleanse, clarify, lift all the dirt and the build up so that all of this goodness has access directly to your hair shaft, the cuticle, your follicles, and all that good stuff. You don't want build up on your scalp and, you know, on the actual hair strand getting in the way of this goodness, because why? But let's see what I'm working with, because I let it get real bad so that you guys can see a transformation. Are you ready for this? Oh yeah, we're ready. We are ready. It is, I mean, let's look at a close-up of this texture. We're about to hydrate, wash. That water is gonna do some good. You know what the water does? And this is the reason you do not apply henna to dry hair. The water soaks into the hair and it lifts the cuticles up. It actually causes the hair to swell, and then you can put the goodness in, okay? That's why I would never recommend, I don't know, I've heard some people apply henna to dry hair. Believe me, sis, you are not getting the most out of it if that's what you're doing. One, your hair's not clean. Two, the actual strand has not swollen up so that the cuticles lift and the goodness goes in. Try it this way. Guys, listen, this is already starting to oxidize. If you look around the outside, it hasn't even been 10 minutes. You can see the Lawson dye being released. If I move this, you can see what the color, can you see what the color is underneath? I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see that? Can you see how this is like turning orangey brown? And you see how this is a completely different color? That is good henna right there. It has not been 10 minutes even. I haven't even jumped in the shower yet. Okay, so your hair is cleansed. If you can avoid applying a conditioner in between the cleanse and application, that is ideal, but sometimes your hair does call for it in order to help with the detangling process. So that is really up to you. Now we're gonna go in and apply, but before we do that, we really wanna make sure that the edges of our face, our ears, our back of our neck are all covered with some sort of a barrier. Now you can use a butter, you can kind of melt it down in your fingers and you can just go along and just have some sort of a barrier. By the way, this is not the only way to use henna. It does not have to be this labor intensive. You could literally make up a tea and spritz your hair with it. You can just add a teaspoon of it to your regular conditioner, or like a fruit like banana blended, and put that through your hair. So don't think that it has to be this labor intensive. This is just if you're applying a mask and you want it to be super hydrating, okay? In fact, I think a video on that would be a really good idea. Let me know below. And the other thing that you're going to need is definitely, I've got a whole box of gloves, because if one breaks on you, you'll literally have orange fingers, because this stuff changes your skin color quickly on your hands for some reason, much more so than my face or my shoulders. If I get the henna on there, my hands change color really quickly. If you're a boffin, a geek, a super clever whiz kid, and you know what the reason is for that, I'd love to hear below. I have a theory in my head. I want to know if I'm right. So you want to section the hair. I always love it when my hair's like this. Again, you can kind of see illustrated the whole point I was making of the hair being literally swelling, extending, opening up, because that is part of the reason why you get that elongation when your hair is wet. So I'm just going to put all the sections out of the way that we don't need. I'm so nervous of getting this everywhere because it's thin, because I want it to get through the whole strand. But listen, this is so messy. And this is kind of why I don't recommend this particular process for young children, because, oh mate, look at that. You can really see the oxidation of color. I'm just gonna go in right from the roots. See that? You'll feel like a cooling sensation on those roots. really massage it into the scalp, because all the benefits of strengthening the follicles, all the goodness gets a chance to penetrate. The zinc from the pumpkin seed, the fatty acids from the shea butter. I put it all the way through the hair. Right, so the other thing that you need to know about henna is, one, it will stain your hair, if I didn't say that already, and two, it can, over a long time of prolonged use, eventually lead to a slight elongation of the curl. One of the things that you can do to prevent that, if you're not about that life, is you can switch and change between a henna deep treatment and then an amla deep treatment, or you can just mix in amla powder with your henna, just to maintain the integrity of your curls if you're going to be using it for a long time, which I do recommend. To be honest, my curls have only become more defined over time, because that's one of the benefits of rebuilding the actual strand and reinforcing the keratin. But it must be noted, it's a hella messy. Ooh. So again, my back quarter I am parting into 2 sections, and then so I'm basically applying the paste to 1/8 of the hair, again working from the roots, making sure I've really applied it to the roots, and going in for those baby hairs. By the way guys, this is a very you can see now the difference between the henna that was allowed to oxidize and the henna that hasn't been, because I ran out. I needed to mix up another 1.5 spoons of henna, and you can see in this section where it's not been allowed to brew. But don't worry, you know, if you leave it in for 4 hours, if anything like that happens when you're doing your application and you leave it in for a little while, ideally 4 hours, whilst you're up and about doing your chores, you still get all the benefits. But I'm gonna go in real thick over all the areas that essentially I just want to give a lot of love to. Clearly it is the end of the day and we are finally finished up. My hair's not dried all the way, but I just thought I'd come in and show you really quickly my results. My hair is super defined right the way down to the ends, and it feels so hydrated and so strengthened. And that's something that typically people don't realize they can actually achieve with henna, but it really does just depend what you're mixing in with it. If you're in desperate need of strength, rebalancing and over moisturization, then definitely have a look at doing just hot water and henna, maybe throw in some aloe juice or some coffee and really get your henna popping in your hair as like a standalone. And then if you want to add in some butters of your choice, any butters of your choice, mango butter's good, avocado butter's good, shea butter is my favorite, and also of course an oil of your choice can be added in, whatever you've got around the house. It makes all the difference in balancing out your henna, so it's also strengthening as well as hydrating. Of course you can check out the henna and aloe mask, which has already got a blend of pre-balanced herbs. It's not so much to the pro strength side, it is definitely a bit more of a balanced mask. Definitely check it out. I'm going to have all that linked in the description box below. Right, one of the things that I get asked about all the time is changing of hair color when you use henna. A lot of people get at me, they're super anxious, but I can tell you that if you have dark or if you have black hair, the change of color is going to be almost negligible if you are rocking a hair color like mine, you're going to see it's not really going to change all that much. You can only really see the tint of brown at the edges of your hair when you're out in sunlight. It's really not that visible otherwise. It does look quite natural. If you have blonde hair, then it will turn your hair a ginger color. If you have white hairs, it will turn your hair a sort of copper color. So do please bear that in mind when you're deciding on your Ayurvedic herb. I will have all of the information linked in the description box below. Also, just a quick thing to mention, over in the Curly Proverbs collection, I've actually put onto the Instagram how to use henna for dry hair. I've put it into the highlights in words, suggestions of different oils, essential oils you can use, suggestions of the benefit of butters and pre-shampoo treatments, on all of that good stuff. It's almost like a mini blog on the highlight reels, so go over and check it out. Also support, you know, hit the bookmark on some of my posts over there, because it really does help to give more eyes onto my content. Until next time, much love. Bye.